Had a split this weekend, as Matt mentioned, with Little Rock here, team that was picked first in the West, and we were picked second. They were picked first overall. We're third. Had two really good games, a lot of lead changes. I think maybe 17 or 19 ties and lead changes the first night, 13 lead changes. And the second night, same thing. Both games were tight. The biggest point differential was 5 the first night, and then 10 the second night. But the encouraging thing, we were disappointed about Saturday night's outcome, but the positive thing is that we played good basketball. We got better this weekend and did a lot of good things in both games, and some things to build on moving forward as we travel to Arlington to take on the Moving Mavericks on Friday night.
What lessons can you guys take from this? Obviously, it's kind of a Sun Belt Conference tournament type atmosphere with how tight the games were. So what lessons can you guys carry forward as you go into, playing Sun Belt basketball on the road that you can carry forward to, play good basketball as the season progresses?
Just got to continue to work together and do the things that we did in the game. We shot the ball better on Saturday especially. I thought Friday was our best 40 minutes of basketball maybe of the year. And then the next day, the first half, we played extremely well and made shots, and we didn't take care of a 10-point lead. Both Saturday nights at home, we came out tied and up 10 and didn't do what we needed to do on the defensive end. But we shot the ball again. We outshot Little Rock. We out-rebounded them on Friday night and had low turnovers both nights. It was our best 2 games of the year, taking care of the basketball. Unfortunately, on Saturday night, we lost the ball and an opportunity to win the game in regulation.
Does that set the identity for you guys going forward in tight games? Obviously, who's going to get the basketball, but does that set the identity of what you guys want to do in terms of who's setting the screen, who's taking the ball out, all that good stuff?
Yeah, it depends where the ball is. That's a pretty awkward spot there at almost 3/4 court on the other side of the half-court line to try to get something when you've got a big in front of you. But we've got different plays for different situations, time and score there.
Coach, what's your biggest takeaway so far from these back-to-back sets? What do you like about it? What don't you? What's the biggest difference, as opposed to playing these teams like a month apart or whatever?
Well, it's a challenge from Saturday night. I mean, we're undefeated, right, in white uniforms on the year, and we turn over to dark, and we played well on Saturdays, but we had a second half defensive lapse in both games. So we've got to finish the game. It's hard to beat a good team back-to-back nights, the same team, and it's something that we're dealing with, and now we'll deal with it as we go on the road for the first time. And I think in some ways it might be even easier on the road.
Do you find, at least so far, like, are there more, more or less in-game adjustment, or between game adjustments, or whereas maybe you saw the same thing when you guys were split a few weeks apart in the past, are there more unexpected things in the second game than previously?
I don't think so. I believe the third and fourth games will be more adjustments made, but we made minor adjustments defensively, what we were doing, and offensively, and just tried to play better. Our motto is less is more, and we want to play better basketball, and we played good Friday, and we played better Saturday for a while.
UT Arlington is a team that you guys have had a pretty good rivalry with, I guess you could say, over the years. They've been a pretty good program in the Sun Belt West. What have you seen from them this year, and what do you have to look for on Friday and Saturday?
They've got a lot of new faces. Shahada Wells is a junior college guard from Tyler Junior College, is a dynamic player at the point, and he's their leading scorer. He's really been good for them. And they're going to shoot the three-point shot quite a bit. They're averaging 25 attempts per game. Something we did a good job with Little Rock. We held them to 2 for 16 and from 3. But this group, Arlington, is going to shoot 25 per game, and they're making 10-plus in conference. So it'll be a challenge, and won't have the size or pounded inside like Little Rock did.
Go ahead.
What's the biggest, with this being the first road series that you guys are going to play, what's the biggest thing that the coaching staff maybe is preparing for as far as the flip around on Friday and Saturday?
Well, in some ways, as I said earlier, I think it's almost easier that you're right there in the hotel. You have less distraction. You're going to make less trips home or to your apartment on campus. So we'll be tight. It'll be a quick turnaround by playing that game at 4:00. And in some ways, I think it can be an advantage for us. But we're excited to get back on the road. We haven't played on the road since 1st of December maybe. So it's been a long time, and we had our first undefeated December in 38 years, but now it's time to go back on the road.
Coach, just getting back real quick to the weekend. After looking at the film, you thought it was more the defense than the offense that let you down in the second half on Saturday?
Well, it's both. It's a combination of both. 9 out of 10 to start the second half, Kevin, would indicate that it's the defense, in my opinion. That's what started it. And then offensively, we didn't execute and do some things we needed to do. The second half in the overtime, Malik Wilson makes 2 field goals. They were big ones. Made 2 big free throws too. But we missed some opportunities to score. And again, we were out free throw 30-12 in this game. That was a big difference.
Malik just seems like he's in a stretch where ball bounces around the rim and it doesn't fall. Do you want someone who's one of the best players on your team to continue to shoot, or did you think maybe he shot a little too much down the stretch?
No, we wanted him to take some of those shots down the stretch. We would like to get the ball inside to Theo. He had 2 excellent games. Brian Ayu had 2 excellent games also. But this will vary game to game what we try to do. But Malik did have a couple that went in and out. And look at the other end, guys. There were a lot of friendly bounces on the other end both nights for Little Rock. So, we didn't get the breaks this time, and maybe we can get them moving forward.
Coach, how do you feel about the play your bigs rotation when you've got all 3 of the primary available after getting Dew back?
What made a difference? I felt like Dew played hard the first night. You could tell he hadn't played in a while. He made a couple of mental mistakes, but he played hard. And then at the second half on Saturday, he's 5 for 5 from the field. And he didn't score the second half either, but he did a nice job, and it really helped our rotation. Isaiah did a good job Friday night, and then on Saturday, his defense was good. He didn't score the ball the way we should have, and we missed a high-low that would have been a dunk for Theo that we lost out of bounds. Pretty much besides that, though, I was pleased with the rotation. And Jacoby Gordon will get back in there and start making some things happen also. He wasn't out there a lot this weekend and wasn't able to contribute.
What do you remember about Dew's game winner from last year? Just the confidence boost it was for your program, and obviously it's a new year, but how can that be something a source of pride you guys can carry into playing there again?
Well, I think we've played well there in recent years and probably won 3 of the last 4 or 4 of the last 5 in Arlington. It's a tough place to play. I don't know what they're doing with their fans necessarily, but the win last year was big. We had outplayed them for the majority of the game. And they get a goaltend basket with 2 seconds to go to get the lead. And we run a play that we work on, and we had a perfect pass, and Dew had a catch and executed a perfect shot, and we win the game.
Coach, talk about the challenge, like you referred to how different it's going to be defensively. When you play a point guard who's the other team's leading scorer, and he's a point guard, but he's their primary scorer too. So talk about how the challenge defensively doing that.
Well, it'll be similar to what we just did, Kevin, because Noel's the leading scorer for Little Rock. And, he scored 15 points and on 15 shots on Saturday, which is not very efficient on his part. He also got an and one with no contact to tie the game with 42 seconds to go. But same situation that we'll be in. We'll try to take the head off the snake and make sure that we play solid behind him and do what we need to do.
Was Gordon's minutes just because of those other 3 ahead of him, or was he dealing with something, Coach?
No, it's just, you guys asked last week to play Isaiah. Somebody's got to sit. We don't have enough minutes to divide them all up. And we felt like in this series that Isaiah could play and do well at that position. He could play with Theo some. And then having Dew back as well, Kevin, that was the main thing. Or Tim, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We mentioned a little bit on Saturday, but Harper seems like he keeps playing well, and if Brand keeps playing well, how complicated could the guard kind of rotation be, or do you feel like you're pretty comfortable with that if that happens?
Well, we're going to play the guys that are efficient, and those two guys have been efficient. They're going to get more playing time moving forward.